Guys ready? I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the pledge of the flag, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Welcome everybody to the June 5th meeting. First up, minutes of May 15th. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Financial report and payment of the bills. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion at all on the financial report? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Lou, you are on.
Yes, I have a series of resolutions here, beginning with Resolution R5, 2019, Refuge Disposal Fee. This resolution shall authorize the Finance Department to implement and collect a refuse disposal fee to offset the expenses of contracted residential trash collection services and landfill disposal fees paid by the town. Whereas the Code of the Town of Elkton, Title 8, Chapter 8.04, Section 8.04 130 provides for the collection of an annual refuge fee to be charged to all property owners from which refuge is collected and disposed of by the town, and that the fee shall be established by a resolution of the Mayor and Commissioners. And whereas the Mayor and Commissioners by Resolution R5 2017 enacted on June 7, 2017 implemented an annual refuge disposal fee in the amount of $124.08 commencing July 1, 2017 for collection by the Finance Department on a quarterly basis. Whereas the Mayor and Commissioners have determined that the aforementioned refuge disposal fee shall be adjusted for fiscal 2020 to offset the expenses of contracted trash collection services and Cecil County landfill disposal fees paid by the town, now therefore be resolved as follows. The annual refuge disposal fee of $130 shall be collected by the Finance Department on a quarterly basis, $32.50 per quarter, and included on the quarterly utility bill for customers receiving trash collection services from the town. The adjusted annual refuge disposal fee shall be effective July 1, 2019, which is the beginning of fiscal 20 budget.
We have a motion to approve Resolution R5-2019.
So moved.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion on Resolution R5-2019? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item I have is a Resolution R6, 2019, Community Legacy Grant Application. A resolution of the Mayor and Commissioner of the Town of Elkton approving the application and receipt of financing for a community legacy project with the Elkton Building Improvement Program. Further described in the application submitted to the Department of Housing and Community Development on June 12th, will be submitted on June 12, 2019, to be financed either directly by the Department of Housing and Community Development or through other departments or agencies of the state of Maryland. Whereas the Mayor and Commissioner of the Town of Elkton recognize that there is a significant need for reinvestment and revitalization in Cecil County and the Elkton community. And whereas the Town of Elkton supports the continuation of a successful building improvement program targeting commercial properties in downtown Elkton. And whereas the department, either through the Community Legacy Neighborhood Intervention, Strategic Demolition Fund, Baltimore Regional Neighborhood Initiative, or through other programs of the department, or in cooperation with other Maryland departments and agencies, may provide some or all of the financing for the project in order to assist in making it financially feasible. And whereas the project is located within the priority funding area under Section 5-7B-02 of the Smart Growth Act, and the project will conform to local zoning regulations. And whereas the applicable law and regulations require approval of the project and project financing by the Mayor and Commissioner of the Town of Elkton, and by the Mayor Robert J. Ott as the Chief Elected Executive Officer of the Town of Elkton. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Commissioners of the Town of Elkton hereby endorse the project in the sustainable community area and approve the request for financial assistance in the form of a grant in the amount of $50,000. And be it further resolved, Mayor Robert J. Alden, as the town's chief elected executive official, is hereby authorized to execute any and all documents to take any action necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution.
Yeah.
There's another end in here.
Do we have a motion to
And
accept?
one more,
Yep, yep.
And be it further, this long-winded tonight, and be it further resolved that this resolution be sent to the Honorable Kenneth C. Cole, Secretary of Department of Housing and Community Development of the State of Maryland.
It's Kenneth C. Holt.
And that was it.
Yeah, I thought you said Cole. Maybe I was wrong.
Holt.
Okay.
No, that's
Holt.
Holt.
He did say Holt?
I ought to know folds, shouldn't I?
Good.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion to accept Resolution R6, 2019.
So moved.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion on the Community Legacy Grant application? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I think this applies to sod and other improvements downtown. That's basically what this involves. Okay, the next resolution, R7, 2019, and a resolution of the Mayor and Commission of the Town of Elkton approving the application and receipt of financing for a strategic demolition fund project for the Elkton Armory acquisition and adaptive reuse project. Further describing the application submitted to the Department of Housing and Community Development will be on June 12, 2019, to be financed either directly by the Department of Housing and Community Development or through other departments or agencies of the State of Maryland. Whereas the Mayor and Commission of the Town of Elkton recognize that there is significant need for reinvestment and revitalization in Cecil County and the Elkton community, whereas the Town of Elkton wishes to protect its history and heritage by preserving sites and structures of architectural and historic significance and promote a sense of community pride among its residents. And whereas the department, either through the Community Legacy Neighborhood Intervention, Strategic Demolition Fund, or a Regional Neighborhood Initiative, or through other programs of the department, or in cooperation with other Maryland departments or agencies, may provide some or all of the financing for the project in order to assist in making it financially feasible. And whereas the project is located within priority funding area under Section 5-7B-02 of the Smart Growth Act, and the project will conform to local zoning regulations. And whereas the applicable law and regulations require approval of the project and the project financing by the Mayor and Commission of the Town of Elkton, and by Mayor Robert J. Auld as the Chief Elected Executive Officer of the town. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Commissioners of the Town of Elkton hereby endorse the project in the sustainable community area and approve the request for financial assistance in the form of a grant amount of $275,000. And be it further resolved that Mayor Robert J. Auld as the town's of Elkton's Chief Elected Executive Official, is hereby authorized to execute any and all documents and take any action necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution. And be it further resolved that this resolution will be sent to the Honorable Kenneth C. Holt, Secretary of Housing and Community Development of the State of Maryland.
We have a motion to accept Resolution R7-2019, the Strategic Demolition Grant application.
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion on that grant application? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, the last resolution is short. Resolution R8 2019, disposal of surplus property. This resolution shall declare certain property of the Town of Elkton as surplus and authorize the disposal of this property. Whereas the Charter of the Town of Elkton, Article 8, Article 13, Section 13-1, provides for the disposal of all real and personal property of the Town of Elkton, and that it has been declared surplus by a resolution of the board. And further, town-owned vehicles, the town-owned vehicles listed thereafter exceeded its respective service life to age, mileage, and general condition, and recommended for their disposal. There are a number of vehicles here, and the vehicles are included a 2008 Ford Crown Victoria that belonged to the police department, 2005 Chevrolet Impala that was in the finance department, 2008 Ford that was a Elkton Police patrol car, 2005 Sterling dump truck, Department of Public Works, 2001 Cat Backhoe, Department of Public Works, 2003 Vermeer Chipper, Department of Public Works, and 2005 Ford van, Public Works, and 2004 Ace backhoe, also Public Works. And this allows me to dispose of this property, and what we normally do is take it to Ritchie Brothers, and they auction off. That's our best alternative to getting the best bucks for our surplus property.
We have a motion to accept Resolution R8-2019.
Move.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion on the disposal of surplus property? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's all the resolutions I have.
All right, very good. I guess I'm up, and I'm going to get to read the ordinance 3-2019. At the last meeting, we introduced, for introduction, was the fiscal year 2020 budget. So I'd like to read the ordinance 3-2019. I hereby present the fiscal year 2020 budget to the Board of Commissioners in conformance with Article 8, Section C 8-7 Charter of the Town of Elton, which provides a complete financial plan for the period of July 1, 2019 through June 30th, 2020, inclusive and anticipated revenues and expenditures during the aforesaid period. Whereas the mayor is required to present an annual budget to the Board of Commissioners for consideration at least 32 days before the beginning of the fiscal year, and whereas the mayor has prepared and hereby presents the attached budget for fiscal year 2020 for consideration by the Board of Commissioners for adoption as attached hereunto, now therefore the Board of Commissioners of the Town of Elton hereby ordains the following. Section 1, fiscal year 2020 budget, that the fiscal 2020 budget is hereby adopted as presented and as or amended hereinafter attached hereto, providing the estimated revenue and expenditures for the governmental and proprietary funds for the period of July 1, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. Section 2, real property tax rate, that the fiscal year 2020 real property tax rate shall be 0.6356 per $100 of real property assessment determined by the Maryland Department of Assessments and Taxation, effective July 1, 2019. Section 3, personal property tax rate, that the fiscal year 2020 personal property tax rate shall be $1.21 per $100 of the personal property value determined by the Maryland Department of Assessments and Taxation, effective July 1, 2019. Section 4, water and sewer rates, that the water and sewer rate shall be charged and collected as set forth under the code of the Town of Elkton, Title 13, Chapter 13.01, Section 13.04.290, unless otherwise amended. This ordinance shall be effective on the first day of July 2019. And we have a motion to accept ordinance 3-2019 fiscal 2020 budget as presented.
So moved.
Have a motion
Seconded.
and a second. Any discussion? The only discussion I'd like to let the board be aware of is that there is no increase or decrease in the water and sewer rates. The personal property rate stays the same, as did the real property tax rate stayed the same. And I wanted to let the board know that there could be a little bit of an adjustment. We met with the healthcare professionals here, I guess it's been about a week ago, probably a week ago. Steve Repole, Beth Moran, myself, Lewis, Lewis was in that meeting. We met with the group, and we were able to tweak our deductible, make it a little bit higher, and I am pleased to say that there will be zero increase in health care for the Town of Elton employees for fiscal year 20. So it's great news for us.
And also,
And it's like
switch to
decrease.
dental, we'll save $10,000 on this.
That's correct. So we also changed our dental plan with another entity, and we were able to save about $10,000. So those are going to be a couple of the tweaks that we had made. Hearing no other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Our budget is approved. All right, let's see, I got a few other things, if I could fire through them if I could. Let's see, earlier today, we had our annual landlord meeting. We probably had, I would say maybe 20 landlords attended the meeting today. They're always good meetings. You get to meet with the property owners who probably have a large portion of real estate property in our town, so it's always great to meet with them. 2 weeks ago, I was happened to be the keynote speaker at the Cecil Business Leaders graduation. So it was the first time I was ever a keynote of anything, and when I thought I did a fairly good job. I was very pleased to see our board was in full force at the Elkton Manor dedication on Monday. It was great that we were all part of that, and we as a board declared June 3rd Elkton Manor Day in the town of Elkton, which I thought was very nice for us to do. I had a couple other little things here. Let me jot these off of here. I had actually had an opportunity to meet with Mary McGall and the Parks and Rec Board right before we came in here, and they're going to provide to the board. From the advisory board some notes of what they came up with as far as looking forward to our community center. I can give you that one if you'd like to have that one. And there's some eye-opening points that I think that the board needs to really digest, and the Parks and Rec Board believes that as we start to move forward with the programming, and I agree when I say the Parks and Rec Board, I agree with everything that they brought onto here, was that we're going to, they're giving suggestions for hours of operation, they're given suggestions for how many people need to be staffed in the facility at all times, but they also realize that we need to start today on our programming for when our building opens, fingers crossed, in May or June of 2020. Because that might be a little aggressive on the plan, but I think Wickersham's going to have it done before then. So what we need to do, and we spoke to the board and with Mary, is that they're going to start working on the new programming and seeing how we can fill that building up with new programs for kids of all ages. And I'm pretty excited about that, actually. It was a very good meeting, and I'll make sure that everyone, I got these notes tonight about an hour ago, and I think that everyone will get a copy of this, of their suggestions. But one of the things that kind of came up was that we probably need to start now, maybe trying to see if we could partner with maybe corporations, if we can, for this property, and maybe they can help scholarship equipment and maybe participants into the programs. And I raised my hand and said I would be, along with the board, helping them do this. So everyone will receive a copy of this. But it was a very good meeting tonight, and I think everyone would agree we need to start now. And one of the, from a staffing standpoint, they really recommend that we probably need to have at least 3 people there at all times during hours of operation.
Considerations, I see the staff in here, but is she going to define the director and the recreational supervisor and the recreational coordinator? Because sometimes those 3 titles intermesh with each other as far as what the duties are. Just a thought, I didn't know what she be doing that. Not.
Yeah, I think there was some actually really good discussion. I think the Parks and Rec Board will come in front of us.
Thanks.
But it was all good stuff. We applied today for the strategic demolition grant application for the Elton Armory. And I think that Katie had done a great job of soliciting each and every one of us to kind of see what our opinion might be moving forward with the Armory building. And I bring that up right now because I think that looking at the recommendations that I see that the Parks and Rec Board put together with the community center for us to move forward with the Armory property as a town entity, I think that we're going to probably be at the same numbers from a staffing standpoint. And quite frankly, I'm not sure how we're going to be able to do that. Just say it how it is. And I'd like for the board to really consider, as we apply for these grants, that we take a real close look at the National Fire and Heritage Center as a possible partner or tenant into this building. I think that that organization could bring in 40, 50, 60,000 people into our town each and every year. And along with that, I think it would allow, by bringing that, the amount of additional people, it would also very possibly show a need for another hotel, maybe two, maybe another restaurant or two in the area. So I think at some point, probably sooner than later, I know it's a little premature that we don't even have the building yet, but maybe we need to put our heads together and see if that's a direction we want to go or not want to go. I don't want to, my vote is to go that way if it ever came to that point. I don't know how we can handle both buildings, and I want to move forward, acquire. I think the town of Elton should acquire that building. I don't think it should ever be a building that's not owned by the town, but I just wanted to put my 2 cents in it. I don't need any input one way or the other, but you guys are certainly allowed to say whatever you want to say.
I'm with you on that.
If you have any comment, but
I've always had a interest or a need for that building, even like right now in the summer. We have no place for the kids to go right now. This building's already ready to go with the use for in the summertime. The kids, instead of being out in the high heat metal park, nothing to do except for run around playing tag. This would be a nice backup for the community center. And it's also a place that, because of the historical building, I would like to keep it as part of the town of Elkton because of that, because that's one of the main buildings that we had when we was growing up 60 years ago. I mean, I know I'm only 40, but yeah, of course I did. I know I'm only 40, but 60 years ago, and I would like to keep that as part of our history.
very good.
That's what I was gonna say.
I wrote, I took the notes.
Well, I did for a little bit. I know you've been saying the same thing, but, you know, that building would be just a cover for the kids during the summer. That, like I said before, I've been to gym all my life, and it's not retrofitted for kids for recreational needs. And it's a nice space, and that's what you need a lot of time when you have kids, but for them to do honorable activities, there needs to be some work done there. And I support what you're saying. I know they don't have another place to go, but it's a fit now, I guess, if that be the case. You know, there's no air conditioning in there that will suffice the needs. I know you don't want to be in the hot sun, but you also don't want to be in a hot building. So I guess there's some measurable things that can be done to accommodate them just temporarily.
And because of the use for the community, wouldn't it, I mean, I think this would be Gene's question to Gene, mentor. Wouldn't we be able to apply for other grants if it's being used for the community in general? I mean, I'm saying that as a question, but she would have to be the one to answer that.
We're applying for the acquisition of the property. The challenge that I can see is that we've looked at the town of Bel Air, and they have taken over their armory, and they are still, I think they've been in operation now, I'm gonna shoot off the hip and say 5, 6, 7 years, and they're still in the negative. It's costing the taxpayers dollars, and I already know how much additional our community center is gonna add to our expenditure side, and I just don't know how we are gonna be able to do the operational side of both the armory and the community center. I guess that's where I'm at. And I know it's a tough decision. I'm saying that we still own the property, but I can't see how we can staff that armory with 3 people all the time and staff the, for safety. You have to do that for safety. It's not that we, you gotta have people to make sure people are safe. That's true. And I think the numbers are all right, but I think and I don't want to give the wrong numbers, but until I actually see them, but I know it's going to cost us quite a bit. But give it some more thought.
Yes, sir.
And I think that, all of us in general, I'd like to, and once again, we don't have the property, but if it's a direction we wanted to go, then I think that we could probably enter right in on some type of agreement with that organization. I think that they're chomping at the bit to be in there, and I think I mentioned one time before I thought they lost interest, and they haven't lost interest. And I'm actually going to meet with the president of the organization on Friday, which will be here, so everyone's kind of welcome to be part and listen to the story. But that's it. But I don't have anything else on my plate tonight. Robert, you're up.
The only thing I'd like to mention is the Craft Beer Festival that's happening Saturday from 2 to 6 down behind Elk River Brewing. There will be 5 local breweries and a winery represented, and a really great band is going to be playing all day from 2 to 6. If you guys can put that on your Facebook and shoot it out there, that'd be great.
And who's that great band? Is that Plan B?
You gotta have a plan, baby.
When did you say that was, Rob?
This Saturday,
This
the
coming
8th,
Saturday.
from 2 to 6, right behind the Elk River Brewing Company. There'll be a lot of vendors there. It's gonna be a good time, and the weather's supposed to be perfect.
Anything else?
What's the price?
I believe it's free. It's an outdoor gig. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's a cost to the event. I don't think there's any cost to get into the event, but there'll be a cost for everything else.
Oh, okay.
All
I
right.
enjoyed going to a lot of ribbon cuttings this week, or last week. I guess last weekend, this week.
Yeah.
And just like to welcome all the new businesses in town and say congratulations to all the graduates coming this week. It's going to be a lot of students graduating. I'd just like to say congratulations to all the students in Cecil County.
Fantastic. Charles?
I thought the dedication ceremony that we went to in Elkton Manor was outstanding. There were a lot of speakers. And Rob, I have to tell you to your face, I think you did a tremendous job not only introducing the staff, but the proclamation was very defined. It wasn't something that was generic. There was thought that went into it. But I think the most important thing that really made that staff happy when he simply said that on behalf of the town of Elkton, this proclamation say this is Elkton Manor Day. It made them really feel good. I mean, you had some other speakers that did well, but sitting there being a part of the town of Elkton, that was great.
Thank you.
So you stepping up into the world.
All right.
So,
Listen, I learned from the best.
I enjoyed it.
I've learned from the best.
If you ride around the town of Elkton, the hospital sits there, and Lewis or the chief or whoever, there's no handicap parking. So if you are a person, and I don't know what you would do, that has a handicap sticker, could you pull in front of one of the meters
Yes.
and use that,
Under Maryland law, I think you have 2 hours.
Yeah.
even with the handicap sticker?
Yes.
Okay, because your person that does that, Claire, she mentioned that to some of the people that, they could use that, and she would not ticket them.
Right.
And some people felt good knowing that, you know, they could utilize that.
Yes.
That's it.
Very good, thank you, Charlie. This is the time of the meeting, we open up the floor for the public if they've got any comments. Mr. Testman, I think you're up. Did you want to say anything, or did you want to plead your case?
Sure.
Well, come on over here, you can
Okay.
have a seat there, and I guess what I wanted to, I actually invited, mentioned to Dave to kind of shut, or I'm going to take this from you if I did it. And I'll kind of, well, no, go ahead. Tell us what you want to do.
Let me just say to you all, first of all, I have about 50% hearing, and I didn't anticipate the room being this open and big.
Yes.
I haven't understood a word that's been said here tonight.
Oh, wow.
So I just, if you feel free to yell at me, and I'll try not to get offended.
Understand.
So, I don't know how to do this.
Well, I can handle it if you want. And if there's any questions, you can, well, let me start off by saying,
Man, you work for the wig, you can't do this.
I know.
Okay, well, let me say that. Okay, I graduated in 1984 from Elkton High School. President of my class, apparently that was a lifetime appointment. I didn't know at the time. This is our 35th high school reunion, and we are having that this fall, October 5th at Patriots Glen. Traditionally, what we have done on the night before our reunion, on the Friday night before, is we host an all Elkton High School alumni party. 5 years ago, we had it at Minnie Haynes. 10 years ago, we had it at the Howard House. And that's open to everyone who ever attended Elkton High School. They can come, it's free of charge. And it's just a night of fellowship, just, you know, reuniting with people you haven't seen in years and that kind of thing. It really took on a life of its own maybe 10 years ago when Facebook first started becoming big. And then 5 years ago, we really upped our game as far as Facebook goes. And this year, we're really stepping it up. So we're anticipating a big crowd. I would say conservatively, we anticipate about 250 at least, and I personally believe it's going to be over 300. And we're drawing people from all over the country, so we're really excited about it. The plan this year, what we came up with was, normally our plan is we go to one location, we have one room to ourselves, and we're segregated from the regular bar or restaurant population. This year we said we want to come back downtown, and we want to show off the rebirth of the town. We're all really proud of the strides that Elkton has made, and we want to show everybody, you know, it's not how it used to be, or not how, you know, I used to hear a lot of negative comments, and it used to really tick me off. But anyway, so we want to bring everybody back in, and we want to show off the town. So we said, how can we do that? And so the suggestion was made that we could go back to Minnie Haynes, and then it was brought up, well, wait a minute, we've got a couple of new bars downtown. Why don't we try to incorporate all of them into our event? So what we're planning on doing is having what they call a bar crawl, which people would be circulating between the 4 bars, and any open businesses, any businesses that wanted to remain open and participate in the evening would certainly be, it would be great. We would love to have it. But a big aspect of that night, in my eyes, is for the first time we will not be at one location. There will be people at 4, at least 4 locations. So in my mind, the big part of that night, the heart of our event, is to have a centralized area where people can congregate and just sort of bump into each other and say, well, let's go over here and get a beer, or let's go have a meal over here, something like that. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to ask to close down Main Street. And we met with a couple of the bars and we talked to them, and they said, absolutely not. So we said, well, if you don't want us to, then we don't want to. So what else can we do? And it was proposed to us that we think about closing down North Street instead, because there are no businesses that would be impacted in that area that we're talking about. And so that's what we're doing here tonight, is we're requesting that we be allowed to close down Main Street in front of the, or I'm sorry, North Street, in front of the vacant building between Minnie Haynes and the North Street Hotel for that one evening. And what we want to do there is we're going to have a 4-piece acoustic Mardi Gras band playing music, you know, and we're just going to have people standing around listening to music, and we're going to have one of our classmates graduated or owns Milburn's Orchard. She's going to donate hay bales, so we can have a few of those sitting around for people to sit down and have a talk or whatever, decide what they're going to do next. So that is basically why I'm here. We would like to ask the town to let us close down that section of North Street for that one evening. And I don't know, any other questions you have?
Well, Dave went through the proper channels. He went and he took the request to the Elton Alliance. And anytime that what we've done as a board is any type of street closure, goes in front of the Elton Alliance, and then they make the recommendation to the board whether it makes sense, doesn't make sense, or what the issues are. And as I sent you a text, the biggest challenge that we have is we don't close the street on First Friday. First Friday is a big event anyhow for the merchants on the town. I think they should have tried to explain that a little bit to you instead of saying no, 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 no. But they did offer up that they would be very supportive of the area behind where Minnie Haynes is the municipal parking lot. They would be supportive there. I could even go a step further and say I would be supportive of the town center where the Alliance office is, that I'm sure that we could collectively figure out how we could make that a staging area without closing off the streets. So I would, just to let you know, I'm not going to go against their recommendation.
Understood.
Now, I don't know how the rest of the board feels about that one way or the other, but it's very difficult for me to go against their thoughts. But I am,
and I don't want to go against them either.
I know that.
I'm passionate about this because I feel so strongly the need for this centralized area. And in my opinion, moving it to the parking lot would be as though you were at a football game and halftime came up and you were sitting there waiting and they told you the band was playing in the parking lot. I mean, it's out of the way.
If we could get you, I think it would be, if we could get the Alliance office to open their doors that evening, if there's no conflict with them, I think it would be, you have a restroom facility in there, you got a big meeting room, you've got the outside where the Mardi Gras band could still be on the grass right there, but it wouldn't be where the streets themselves would be closed. How do you feel about that?
I talked to Dave, and I told him one of the main things that impacted was, and I'm glad the chief's here, the police department, and I would ask his advice on that, because normally they have to have, in order to close on the street, police directions, all that stuff, and that's a big impact. I told you that on the phone. That was one of my main concerns, on shutting down any street. And on Friday, you know how it is. If Delaware Avenue's flood, Delaware Avenue floods, it's crazy trying to use Bridge Street as your only way around town of Elkton. Mm-hmm. So that's almost like the flooding of Delaware Avenue. Am I right, Chief? Mm-hmm. So I was just, any advice you would give us on that? I mean, as far as the recommendation, you wouldn't want to close the street down, right?
We never want to close the streets down.
No, I consider the police department a big part of this, so.
Yeah, I mean, if you decide to close the streets down, then we're going to have to assign officers.
Over time.
Likely to,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry, Chief, I didn't hear you.
and if the board decides that they want to close the street, then we'll have to assign a few officers for traffic control purposes.
Is there?
Yeah, I mean, what I talked to Rob about, well, a while back, whenever we first talked about it, was, you know, we would want to leave that alley between North Street and the vacant building open so that access to both North and Main would still be there. It just would be through the municipal parking lot. We're not interested in blocking that road off. Our block would be on this side of that, so that would remain open. Again, I'm not trying to make waves for anybody. If you guys don't want us to, we will make do some other way.
I think the biggest challenge is it's a first Friday for me. If it was the following Friday, and it doesn't, because they schedule out that first Friday with art events, the art council, there's a lot of action going on, and you're gonna help us with all the bodies. It's gonna be a great night in Elton that night, but I think it would be, I think it could be a little bit of a hindrance, but I'm only one of 4 up here today.
With your idea of the, using the place out in front of the Elkton Alliance and the building itself, I'm sure they would be welcoming to this. And we have music out there all the time that's set up for it. I think you guys would be very comfortable using, can you hear me okay? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not looking.
Yeah, you can, if you use the Elkton Alliance's lawn and building, I think you'd be very comfortable there.
Well, I don't have a problem using the lawn. Now, when we heard last night that the Alliance had said no, we started talking about alternatives, and we had talked about the lawn, and I did not know, I don't spend a whole lot of time looking at that lawn.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if there were things on there that would cut down on the amount of people that would fit on the lawn, but I stopped there on the way over tonight.
Yes.
And took a look at it. And it might very well be, I wouldn't want to go in the building. I'm afraid that somebody might have a drink or two too many, go in there and make a mess. And I don't want to get into all that. You know?
Remember that class?
I'm just saying, I just don't want that potential to be there. I don't want anything to happen that gives this event a black eye in the town's eyes, so.
Well, that building would be open for you for a restroom facility anyhow.
Okay.
So it's available,
But I mean, we're totally willing, if you would rather us do the lawn, to try and go that route.
yeah, I think we're all suggesting the lawn.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
That's it. All right.
Thank you, Dave.
Do we need to do anything else?
Yep.
All right, thank you all very much.
All right.
Thank you.
So will you be getting back to someone to say whether yea and nay? So
Yes.
somebody would have affirmative?
Yeah, you got that, Michelle? We can reach out to, we got it. We'll reach out about the lawn, but we're gonna make that lawn work for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
Anyone else have anything to say this evening? Come on down. Miss Shirley?
I am currently working on a petition for Kensington Courts to be allowed to change the color of our decks so we can have white and black. If you notice that there are many decks that are being built with white and black. And in doing so, I'm walking around all the neighbors, and there's concerns about the retention ponds have not been mowed or cleaned out. They're high, it's thick, and then the dishes going out to Elk River, they want something done with those as well. But there's, the retention ponds have not been cleared out.
Well,
I disagree with that. My guys do, we have 5 ponds down there that we watch.
Yeah. Come behind Radcliffe Court, Highland and Radcliffe, it's up there.
perfect.
I didn't look out there today, but.
Can you look at it, Dan?
But yeah, people are concerned about that. And then the ditch going out to the Elk River, they're asking for help to clean that. There's, Ray is in his 80s and he can't get down there and clear all that out.
But you also have an HOA. We'll look at the ponds, but you
Yeah.
also have the
But
HOA as
who
well.
is responsible for the ditches? Is it the HOA or is it?
Depends where it's at. Now, the ones out front, the ones off the road, I think we got them, but ones going to the Elk River, we stopped somewhere around there. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because nobody's sure of whose responsibility that is, so.
So, that's me.
Anderson,
Thank you.
and that's it.
Thank you.
I was just speaking for the other people.
Well, good luck on the deck color.
Let me tell you. I'm doing a lot of work.
Sam, come on down.
I'm representing the National Fire Heritage Center, National Firefighters Foundation, and Singer Lee Fire Company. We have a permit request in, it went to the Alliance, was approved, and to have a cruise-in with fire trucks, be a mirror image of your classic car cruise-in, except it would be fire apparatus, probably from a four-state area. And it's already been approved by Alliance, and just want to get it approved by the board.
Yeah, the recommendation for that was approval, and do we need a vote for that?
I would approve it officially.
Do we have a motion to support the cruise in?
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Also, our permit request, I think it's where you were going, Lou, was we would provide our own traffic with the fire police, which would relieve the town of that responsibility.
What's the date, Sam?
It's August 23rd and 24th, I believe.
And-
Perfect.
And time?
It's from, well, I wanted to bring that up. We were starting at 5, but I think that's probably not a good idea for the bank. And so we're flexible on the time, based on, input from you guys. But we put in for 5 o'clock, and, but we're flexible.
We don't have a problem with 5 o'clock,
Not going.
Okay, so it's slated to schedule 5, I think 5 to 9 or 5 to 10.
You can have that.
That was the only issue on the street, closing off North Street.
We requested it from the bank forward, so we're not even,
They're not interfering with the bank.
yeah.
That's what I'm
That
saying.
was typical.
Yeah, we're not taking the whole street, we're starting at the bank, driveway, forward. Okay,
Thank you.
Be a road closure also.
yes.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything to say this evening?
I have a question.
Come on down.
Oh, can I just, it's just real quick. You were talking about the Armory and the organization that you want to be.
Yes.
Could you explain just a little bit of what that organization is? Because I missed that.
Well, listen,
We actually have a board member.
you should have asked the board member that was right here, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. I was able to get the, and he's going to correct me if I'm incorrect, but the National Fire Heritage Center, I want to say it's a, they collect records, data. Well, Sam, I'm going to get in trouble. Come on down and say what you do. He's looking at me and he's saying, he's really messing up already.
The National Fire Heritage Center is an umbrella group for several organizations, including the Archive, the National Archive, which is the same as the National Archive in Washington DC, except for it deals with fire-related materials. So documents, photographs, video. For example, the original video for the TV show Emergency is there. The original, and for those of you who remember, there used to be a show called Rescue 8, 1958 vintage. That video is there. So all the historical documents relating to the fire service history are there, including documents related to training and technical documents on water flow, how do you design a fire hydrant system for a town, those kind of original documents, those are all there under the archive component of the National Fire Heritage Center. Also, there's three-dimensional objects, antique nozzles, antique equipment, those kinds of things that are of historical significance. Those are there. So it's kind of like the Smithsonian for the fire service, if you will. And so people from all over the world would come to either do research or to see those items being right up I-95. Long-term plan would be to have a sign on I-95, and people driving through would stop by and come in and see that.
Can you share real quickly, and if you can't, because the newspaper is here, what you stated to me today about the two artifacts that possibly could?
Yeah, we just had a meeting yesterday with the U.S. Navy, and the U.S. Navy has two significant vehicles. One's a steam engine from the 1800s, and the other one is a World War II vintage fire engine that belonged to the Navy in San Diego. And they've committed to us that if we do get that building, that they won't give us, but they will give us to us on permanent loan to store for them and to be on display. Right now, they're literally in a garage on the military reservation, and nobody can see them. These are pretty spectacular pieces of equipment.
And what about the monument? Can you say anything about a monument?
Yeah, when we made our first presentation to the town many months ago, we talked, one of the questions that came up was, well, what are you going to do with the World War I monument that's sitting on the property? And our answer is nothing, we're going to leave it there. But in the interim, we've looked at, well, how can we balance that out? Because you have this big monument on one side of the driveway and then nothing on the other side. And we've made arrangements with the city of New York to create a 9/11 monument there. It's on the other side of the driveway.
Thank you very much.
Assuming we get the project.
Very good. Thank you. Anyone else have anything to say tonight?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'm aware that the reunion group is probably going to be asking for an alcohol waiver at some point in the future. I know it's out a ways, it's not till October. Will we give them a sense of the timing that they're going to need to come in and request that?
I think it's probably been requested. Can we make that motion and move on? Not the alcohol waiver comes directly to us.
Who is it? We don't have a document that
Okay,
requesting, I would wait.
very good.
Something in a person's calendar.
Dave, if you're looking at drinking alcohol in the streets that night, please send to us a request that you want to have an alcohol waiver for the streets that night.
Okay.
All right, it is 7 minutes to 8. This meeting is adjourned.